Warning, two things. One, there is sexual content in this, so please take care of yourself in case you're triggered. And two, I'm in Mexico and sometimes the internet is unpredictable. So I encourage you to receive the transmission and not worry so much about how the internet shows up. And maybe it'll be amazing today, just calling on all the guides and connecting to source energy for having it flow. Have you ever avoided sex or wanted the lights out because you felt so ashamed of your body? Just put yes below in the chat. Be brave. Have you ever criticized your body? Put yes below in the chat. I want to let you know that according to the stats, 51% of women actually avoid sex because of how they feel in their bodies. 51%. And according to University of British Columbia in Canada and Psychology for Today, 70% of women report that body shame impacts their sexual confidence. Another study showed that 80% of women said that negative body image actually affects their ability to enjoy intimacy. If you can relate to any of those, put R in the chat. So again, you are sadly not alone. It's very common. And another stat that's very related is 53% of women in 2021 reported burnout. 53%. Put burn below if you were one of those. I was. And it was due, the number one reason was lack of self-care. And that's a whole other story unto itself. We could go into why we end up not caring for ourselves as women. But today, welcome to The Naked Truth, 3 hidden myths that cause women to be unhappy with their bodies and cause burnout. This is actually part 2. I shared part 1 recently, so you can go and look at part 1. You don't have to go there now. I got to turn on a fan. It is hot here. So I'm just calling that out for a moment here. Thank you for your patience. Just put burn below in the chat. Ooh, that's better. I thought I'd be okay, but not. Ooh. If you can relate to that, I'm past menopause, but just put hot if you get some hot flashes still. All right, so put burn below in the chat if you have suffered from burnout. So today, I am going to share with you practical steps to prevent that burnout and to shift you from being unhappy with your body, moving towards accepting and hopefully eventually happy with your body. You are also going to realize that you are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you. You're going to start to uncover some of the blocks. We're going to clear away some of the blocks that have actually stopped you from being happy with your body and have caused you burnout. You are going to leave here today feeling more confident, more hopeful, more connected to your body, and also more feminine. Since we are going to hang out here today, do I have your permission to tell you a little bit about myself? And I had a timer on. It was so adorable when I'm here. Okay, I'm just going to check that one. We'll just add on to that. Excellent. All right. Okay. So my name is Vireo. Sounds like Cheerio, but with V like vulva and vagina. I am a pleasure coach, sacred sexuality, sacred femininity coach, a Taoist tantric practitioner, laughter yoga, ecstatic dance teacher. I have a master's in education, number one, multiple best-selling author. I have 15 years of teaching in the classroom from kindergarten all the way up to grade 12. I have 17 years of supporting women around body love, self-love, empowerment, increasing libido in and out of the bedroom. And I am very blessed to live 6 months of the year here in Mexico during the winter and the other 6 months in Canada in a cabin on a lake. And my life is very, very blissful, ecstatic for the most part. And I'm going to tell you, it has definitely not always been this way. There is one piece of my story. I already shared it in part one, so I'm not going to tell you that part here. You'll need to go and listen to part one. But I do remember so many moments, but I'm going to tell you about one in particular. I was so burned out. I was exhausted. I wasn't sleeping well. And I remember my husband and I had sex, and I was probably like 5 or 10 minutes long, and he had rolled over and was snoring. And I put my hand under the covers and I masturbated. And I can't even call it self-pleasuring because it was completely devoid of pleasure. I felt shame. I felt shame at touching myself. I felt broken. I felt like there was really something wrong with me physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as a woman. And I literally masturbated just to take the edge off. And sometimes, if he wasn't snoring and sleeping, I would go to the bathroom and I would just quickly get it done. I didn't know about lube. I didn't know about coconut oil. It was actually very painful sometimes. And I remember at one point, I realized that I had given away the power and the responsibility of my happiness and even my pleasure and my orgasm to the men in my life and to that husband. And I decided that had to change. It was not going to work. That was creating codependency and misery and dissatisfaction and unhappiness. I began studying the art of self-pleasure. I started to love myself and gather the pieces of myself. Oh, I just lost my thread for a moment. I'm so adorable when I'm human. And I also learned a mindset tool, belief or patterning to start to transform some of those beliefs of not good enough, ashamed of my body, feeling like a failure, feeling broken. I transformed hundreds of beliefs. And over time, women started coming to me, no pun intended, but pun taken. And they're like, we want what you're having, Vireo. And I gave birth 9 months ago, 9 months ago, 9 years ago. Nine is there somewhere. 9 years ago to the pleasure program, 12-month pleasure program. And these women started having more confidence, started loving their bodies, started having positive self-talk. And that's why I'm here today sharing with you the naked truth. If you are ready to hear the naked truth and the number 2 hidden myth that keeps you unhappy with your body and causes burnout, put number 2. You got to go and watch the other video for number 1. Put number 2 here. Oh, and by the way, I just want to let you know, first of all, no fault to that first husband. We were the blind leading the blind. But I want to let you know that I no longer feel shame around self-pleasuring. I know this body and this temple really well right now. And I learned things I didn't even know I didn't know about my own body. And that's one of the things I teach in our pleasure program. And maybe you can't relate to having a husband roll over and snore beside you and having 5 or 10 minute sex. Or maybe you can't relate to masturbating. Maybe you didn't go there at all. But let me know, can you relate? Put the word relate below in the chat. Can you relate? If you do relate to this, put relate and put XXX. But can you relate to moments where you perhaps had sex when you didn't want to, or you just wanted to get over with, or you were enduring when it was dissatisfying? Just put D below if you endured dissatisfying sex. So are you with me? All right. So put number 2 if you are ready to hear the number 2 hidden myth that keeps us unhappy. So the number two is that we actually have this programming in here in our subconscious that we're not even aware that we believe our bodies are shameful. Put shame below if you, on some level, you know that to be true. What were some of the messages you received as a little girl about your body, your femininity, your sexuality? What are some of the messages you received as you went from girl to woman? If you're willing to be brave, share them in the chat. And I actually would invite you to get a piece of paper and let's see if I can do this right. The other way around. All right. On the left-hand side, you're going to put a down arrow and dump out all the things that you heard that are draining, negative, hurtful, and then put things that are supportive on the right upside. Most women have more here and a little bit here, but let's dump them out because the first thing that if you want to shift something, you got to be aware of where you are starting. So get all of those down. And I want to remind you that all of those beliefs came to you in utero to 7 years old. It's not your fault. And it's not your fault if you're a mom either. However, you do have the choice and the responsibility now as a grown adult to shift those beliefs. So that's one of the things in our pleasure program that I do to support. So if you want to know the second antidote to moving away from that shame, put 2A in the chat for antidote. And the antidote is to start treating your body like a sacred temple, which is what it is. So start treating yourself like a goddess and a sacred temple. I have a couple tools from the first module to share with you. And then I'm going to tell you more how to shift your body to being a sacred temple. Let me see. I've got so many things to share with you here. So one of the ways to do that, I want to find one word that I had here on a card for you. I'm going to find it. There it is. So sacred. Yes, you want to treat your body as a sacred temple. So I'm going to give you practices that are going to help you with that. Put sacred below if you're like, yes, I would like to have that. In the first talk that I shared, we talked about sovereign solo self-love. So I'm going to give some tips that are going to support you for your body being sacred and you having sovereign solo self-love. So one of them is to notice when you criticize your body. Notice when those draining thoughts come up and stop. Apologize to yourself. I'm so sorry for telling myself that I looked fat in that. I'm so sorry for criticizing the way my face looks. After you apologize, then give yourself 2 compliments, real compliments, sincere compliments. Don't try and say something about what you just criticized yourself if you don't believe it. So a compliment could be, let's say you criticized your belly. Now you said something not nice to your belly. You could say to your belly, I love that you birthed 2 babies. What I also love about you, belly, is I love that you are soft and I love putting my hands on you and breathing into you. Okay, so make sure it's real. So notice the self-criticism, notice the body criticism, stop, apologize, and give yourself 2 compliments. Then the other one is when you notice, I do this sometimes when I notice maybe I make a mistake or maybe I do have negative self-talk. One of the things I'll say to myself is, Vireo, you're so adorable when you're human. So put human below. If you would like to use that one, you say to yourself, I am so adorable when I'm human. And that is so much kinder than saying, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? Right? I'm so adorable when I'm human. Put human below. Put human and adorable if you want to take that one with you. I am going to be asking you at the end which of these practices you want to take with you. All right. The next one is a friend one because this will also help you. So ask a friend who you love and care about, ask if she would be willing to do this practice with you. So what happens is, remember that criticism, sometimes we don't notice it ourselves. So when you notice your friend criticize herself, you can say to her, hey, this is called a soul sister. Actually, I call it SOS, soul of sister, SOS practice, right? To save each other. Soul of sister. You say, hey, don't talk to my girlfriend that way. And then you say, now you need to apologize. Two compliments to yourself, sincere, real. Okay. And then you can ask your friend, would you be willing, if I criticize myself, to stop me and say, hey, don't talk to my girlfriend that way? And then you also give yourself two compliments. So put soul sister below, or just sister if that's too much. Put sister if you're willing to support your soul sister on SOS when she's criticizing herself. I want to tell you about Cassie, who was in our 12-month pleasure program. When she first came to me, she was criticizing herself. She actually felt really disgusted with her body. And her self-talk was, as she would say, atrocious. She has two little girls, and I was like, how do you want them to talk to their bodies? They're watching you, they're listening to you. So she started doing the practices. We started transforming the mindset, started doing the daily pleasure practices, feminine empowerment tools. And in the end, she started to have first body acceptance and eventually reverence of her body. And she was able to soften that critical voice. So put yay, yay below if you are so happy for Cassie. All right. I would like to share with you a resource that I have for you that is going to help you to stop that body criticism. So I want to find my notes here. All right. So this resource is going to help you to stop body criticism. this has been decades of me gathering this because women who were not able to maybe do my pleasure program right away, I still wanted to serve them. So I started thinking like, what have I done that has helped me to be badass, 64 years old, feeling and having more aliveness and youth and confidence than I did when I was 40. So I put together this resource. You can start using it right away. Put the word goddess below if you wanted. It is 8 empowering steps to feel like a goddess, increase body confidence, and increase self-love. I promise you, it is going to help you to start to dissolve that self-criticism, dissolve the body criticism. It's going to help you to start to love this body. And the surprise is you're actually going to start to have more energy and vibrancy. You're going to feel more alive. You're going to feel more feminine. You're going to feel more sexy and more juicy in your body. And you are going to feel like a goddess. All right. You're going to learn some real practical steps. You're going to print it off. Go ahead. Put goddess below. And when you have it, put your name in there, email address, and then make sure you drag it into from the spam into primary. Add Vireo, V like victory, IREO, or V like vulva, IREO, Vireo at pleasurecoachvireo.com, and add me into your contacts. And then every week you will get my Tantric Tuesday weekly bite-sized pleasure moments, and that will help you to also start to increase your self-love and feel more like a goddess and have everyday ecstasy. All right. Are you ready for number 3, hidden myth that keeps us unhappy in our bodies? Put 3 below in the chat. So the number 3 lie that we've been told that it's selfish to put yourself first. Put selfish below if you have bought into that lie as well. Like I did for decades. The problem is when we continue to not put ourselves first, we burn ourselves out. So again, put burn below in the chat. And if you've done it more than once, put burn XXXX. If we don't prioritize ourselves, just like they say on the airplane, we have to put our oxygen masks on first, or we will burn ourselves out and we won't have anything to give. So first of all, with my clients, one of the things we do is we repattern. We go through the 7 steps of relief repatterning. We transform that belief that it's selfish. And now when people, because I have people that call me selfish, they will not be named. And I say thank you. And they're like, that wasn't a compliment, Vireo. And I go, that's okay. I take it as one because it tells me that I am way better at putting myself first now. So I say thank you. It's evidence that I am rocking at self-care. So selfish is actually just self-care. It's smart. And the other thing that it is sacred medicine. It's actually medicine. It's preventative medicine when we care for ourselves. We fill ourselves up first. This morning, before I interviewed this man in our pleasure revolution, and before I came here, I went for a swim in the ocean. I filled myself up. I had a shower. I washed my hair. I filled myself up with things that bring me pleasure. So, not only is pleasure medicine, but it is actually, are you ready? It's actually a path to God, to the divine, to source, to the higher power, whatever you want to call that. But the powers that be would like you not to know that path because you are way easily more manipulated if you don't have that power. You'll buy shit you don't need. You'll be depressed. You'll spend more money. But if you actually have pleasure as sacred and self-care as sacred, you will have your own sacred path to the divine. You don't need religion or a church or anybody else to give you that, any guru. You have that path right within you, and you will become unfuckwithable. So I think we are close to time. So I want to tell you that pleasure will reconnect you with your body as sacred. Pleasure is not a reward you give yourself at the end of the day if there's time left over. It is not dessert. It's actually vital. It's vital medicine, and it's sacred vital medicine. In our pleasure program, I actually teach how we have sexual reflexology. Everybody probably knows hand and foot reflexology, but we actually have sacred sexual reflexology. So if you go to the first video that I shared, you will learn that in one of the hidden myths, the ways to move away from body unhappiness and to prevent burnout is to have sovereign solo self-love. All right. The second one is to treat your body as a sacred temple, which it is. And remember, put goddess below because my resource, 8 empowering steps to feel like a goddess, increase body love and self-confidence, is going to help you to feel like a goddess. All right. And treat your body like the sacred temple it is, as that it is. So put goddess below. And pleasure is actually medicine. It is sacred medicine, right? Sacred medicine. And self-care is sacred. So sister, soul sister, it is really time for you to come first. All right. So tell me, what is the takeaway that you had here? And tell me one action from all the tips that I shared. What's one action? Because if you wanted to go from short-term memory, wherever that is, into long-term memory and make it a habit, you need to do something with it in 24 to 48 hours. So tell me one action step that you will take as a result of listening to this today. What's one thing that I suggested here that you will do? Will it be the mindful mirror practice? Will it be the soul of sister, the SOS practice? Which practice will you start to do? I'm not going to list them all here. So again, make sure you put goddess below if you want 8 empowering steps to feel like a goddess. And then make sure you move me out of spam into your safe contacts. And I promise you, you will increase your body confidence and self-love and feel more like a goddess. Make sure you watch the first session if you didn't. And who do you know that maybe is struggling with body image? Maybe she criticizes herself. Go to the 3 dots above, click on it, and share it with 3 goddesses who you love. So your soul sisters too can start to feel like a goddess. Or have a party, gather together, get some flowers and things that you love, maybe some food, and have a goddess party and watch this together. All right. I love you. I see you. Let me know your takeaway below. Facebook shut down my account, so I can't actually go and look at your comments. I have to get a friend to help me to do that. So put the word goddess below. You can reach out to me. I'm on YouTube. I am Pleasure Coach Vireo on YouTube. You can also find me on WhatsApp. Message me at Vireo, V like victory, IREO, Vireo at pleasurecoachvireo.com. It would be my honor and my pleasure to connect with you. And if you don't get the resource here, just email me, Vireo at pleasurecoachvireo.com. And I promise you, I will get that resource to you. Namaste. I love you. I see you. And remember, pleasure is medicine and it's sacred. Blessings.